The Russian army continues its victorious offensive along the entire combat contact line. Over the past 24 hours, the advance of Russian troops has been recorded in all directions of the front, including Zaporizhia and Kherson. Simultaneously with this, the Russian Aerospace Forces, together with missile forces, continue to launch massive missile strikes against military installations of the Ukrainian army and NATO forces almost every day. All this indicates that Russian intelligence is working non-stop, identifying even the most classified enemy facilities on the territory of Ukraine. My dear truth seekers, in this video, I will tell you in detail which settlements the Russian army has liberated in the last 24 hours. Moreover, you will also learn the shocking details of the massive Russian missile attack on military installations in Ukraine, which took place on the night of February 5th. So, a few minutes ago, the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation officially announced the liberation of the strategically important settlement of Novomlynsk, in Kupiansk direction of the front. The official statement says that units of the group of troops under the designation Zapad liberated this settlement. Thus, the Russian army continues to expand its springboard north of Kupiansk. All this indicates that Russian troops will storm Kupiansk from several directions at once, from the north, east, and southeast. The Russian Defense Ministry also officially announced the liberation of the settlement of Baranovka, in Pokrovsk direction of the front. According to General Igor Konashenkov, this settlement was liberated by units of the group of troops under the designation center. Thus, the liberation of Baranovka allowed the Russian troops to start advancing toward Konstantinovka from the southwestern direction, which would inevitably result in the creation of a new cauldron, and the subsequent destruction of the Ukrainian forces in this city. On the same day, Russian troops also completely liberated the settlement of Dakhnoy in Kurakhovo direction of the front. According to war correspondents, the liberation of Dakhnoy allows Russian troops to finally slam the cauldron lid, and force the Ukrainian grouping in the settlement of Ulikly to surrender without a fight. Against this backdrop, many expressed confidence that Russian troops would also soon liberate settlements like Ulikly and Constantinople. Thus, over the past 24 hours, the Russian army has liberated 3 settlements at once, which is rather impressive. Meanwhile, on the night of February 5th, the Russian Aerospace Forces, together with missile forces, launched another massive missile attack on military installations and infrastructure facilities, associated with the military-industrial complex in the territory controlled by the Ukrainian army and NATO forces. This time, enemy targets in such Ukrainian regions as Sumy, Poltava, Kyiv, Vinnytsia, and Kharkiv were subjected to massive missile attacks. In all key cities of these regions, independent monitoring services and numerous witnesses recorded about 50 powerful explosions. It is reliably known that during this attack, Russia used its strategic aviation and several combat crews of ISKANDER missile systems. So, in the Sumy region, in the southwestern part of the city of Romny, Russian missiles hit a local oil depot, where fuel for the Ukrainian army was processed and stored. In addition, numerous explosions were also recorded in the border settlements of the Sumy region. Basically, missile attacks were carried out on a forest area, where the Ukrainian command was hiding Ukrainian and NATO soldiers, for their subsequent transfer to the Kursk region. In the Poltava region, in the eastern part of the city of Kremenchuk, Russian missiles hit and destroyed 2 of Ukraine's energy infrastructure facilities. As a result, the city's enterprises, working for the needs of the Ukrainian army, were left without electricity. In the Kyiv region, Russian missiles attacked transport and logistics centers, where tens of thousands of 155mm shells and hundreds of missiles for Western multiple launch rocket systems were delivered by NATO countries. In the Vinnytsia region, in the southern part of the city of Kalinovka, the Russian military struck the place for the deployment of the personnel of the Ukrainian army and foreign mercenaries. It is reported that as a result of this missile attack, 30 Ukrainian soldiers and 10 foreign mercenaries were killed. They were mostly Polish citizens. And finally, in the Kharkiv region, in the southeastern part of the city of Izium, a Russian ISKANDER ballistic missile struck the building of the city's administration. As it turned out, the right wing of this building was used by the Ukrainian command and NATO military advisors as a decision-making center. In addition, this building was also used as a place for the deployment of mine layers from Sweden, Norway, Romania, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic. According to multiple sources in the Russian military department, as a result of this missile attack, 60 Ukrainian officers from the Ministry of Defense were killed, as well as about 30 NATO officers, who were engaged in mining bridges, infrastructure facilities, and territories along the entire combat contact line. It is reported that these were mostly Romanian, Norwegian, Swedish, Slovak, and Czech citizens. At the same time, it should be noted that immediately after a Russian ballistic missile destroyed the building of the Izium city administration, along with NATO officers, French specialists hastily left the buildings of local hotels not only in Izium, but also in the city of Sloviansk. According to representatives of the Russian underground in Ukraine, French specialists, many of whom are active duty officers of the French army, began to leave their places of deployment en masse, fearing Russian missile strikes. Moreover, some of them even decided to leave Ukraine. It seems these so-called French volunteers chose not to tempt fate, and left Ukraine in time, which has already turned into a cemetery for thousands of NATO soldiers and officers. Let's hope that the other representatives of the North Atlantic Alliance will also take the lead from these Frenchmen, and preserve their lives by exiting the territory of this Eastern European country.